So today, we'll talk about Jira. Okay, so it's also a test management tool. Okay, like Rally, you've seen Rally, right? It's similar. The reason um, why I'm talking too many test management tool because this is the only tool you have to know. Remaining everything will be a manual testing. Okay, if you're going as a QA or ETL tester. Okay, this is one of the major tool that you'll be using. It doesn't have to be any specific tool, any tool. Okay, but you will be using that at least for sure one tool. Okay, you cannot use any Excel, you cannot use so that doesn't help. But test management tool are far more better when people are accessing all over the place. Okay, at the workplace. Okay, so let's go here. So here, remember we left one thing here, that's the Confluence. Okay, so we'll talk about this. So actually, it's SharePoint. SharePoint is actually from IBM. Okay, the name itself is coined as SharePoint. But here in this scenario, we'll be using Confluence. It's the same thing. It's actually what is SharePoint? So it's actually place for uploading your documents, to sharing your documents across the team, because you'll be working with a lot of people, right? A lot of people will be working. So you want this, one place, right? I mean, you can use, you don't want to use test management tool for this because that's a different thing. That's not for sharing or something. It's for uploading your test cases and uploading your documents. But for other documents like test plan, test strategy documents, ER diagrams, high-level documents, technical design documents, all those things require one place to put, right? There should be one place. So that's the reason you are using SharePoint. Okay, SharePoint. Here in this case, we'll be using Confluence. Okay, so we'll talk about this. Okay, so this is Jira. Okay, so this is Jira, and I'll be giving you access for this tool too. Okay, so you can you're able to practice it and see if you get used to this. Okay, the point is not getting addicted. Don't get used to the tool. Okay, don't get used to the tool. No, I only know Jira. I only know Rally. Okay, the tool might be different at your workplace. It's not necessarily Jira or Rally or HPLM. It doesn't have to be the same tool every time. It can be any other tool. So you have to get used to the process, not the tool. Process in sense, creating test cases, executing test cases, and reporting defects. All these things will be same in any other tool. Okay. Confluence and functionality is not same but similar. You'll be doing the same thing actually, uploading the documents, downloading the documents. So it's actually document sharing. Okay, the documents, you will share the documents. In either case, SharePoint or Confluence, doesn't matter. The user interface is different, completely different. Okay, SharePoint, I find SharePoint is more user friendly than Confluence. Confluence is not that user friendly. Okay, but it still does the job. So you still want to view those documents. So that's the difference. It's a different company. Same thing, different company. It's like, it's difference between HPLM and Rally. Do you see the difference? HPLM is from HP and Rally is from CA Technologies. Make sense? So both, same thing. It's a different company, okay? And the usage will be, of course, different. Usage will not be same because the UI completely changes. Okay, the user interface is completely different. Okay, so that's the thing. Okay, so here let's go. This is Jira. So here you have this all of the options. So before going to Jira, we'll talk about this Confluence. If you click here, we will go to here. The last one. This is Serious Confluence. So we'll see here. So okay, good. People have been writing a lot of things here, so that's good. So here. see here. So there's a problem right here. You have to figure it out. Which one are you working on? Okay, so let's see here. Okay, good. So here now we have two. Go to here. I hope this was good. Okay, good. So this one is good. So this is a little bit odd. You have to figure it out which project you're working on, which one you'll be actually working on. Okay, so it's really confusing a little bit, but we'll see here. Okay, so here you have this, if you go to this pages, you have this option here, and I'll be giving this whole URL, so no need to worry to navigate all this, okay. I'll be just directly giving you, this will be the project, okay, this is a space means, space in the project, particular project, and I named it is here. So I'll be giving you this complete URL, so you don't have to, run around which is there and which is not, okay, so you will be directly entering to this page, okay, so this should be easy. And once you go here, if you see this, there are too many options here. Decision log, a file list, if there's any files, okay, to download like test plan, test strategy document, business requirements. FRD, system requirement specification, etc. So all this, you have normally you will be, getting access here. So you can download it from here. Okay, meeting notes. Okay, so in meeting notes, normally product owner or business analyst, could update this one. Not they, but it's up to the project. Whoever is responsible, they will be, updating the meeting notes here. Product requirements. Okay, the product requirements is like, if you have any requirement documents, you can be, you'll be putting here. And retrospective. So, okay, just give me a second. Okay, so so this is this is what you'll be putting all the documents here. Okay, so here you have product requirements where you can put the requirements. So not you, okay, the responsible guy. As a QA, you'll not be uploading lot. You'll be only you'll not even upload a lot of things here. You will be mostly QA lead or will be doing that even if they have to do it. As a QA tester, QA analyst, you'll be just viewing it or downloading it. That's it. You're not uploading many of things, but QA lead, yes, they will be doing. Okay, decision log is, it's also it's updated. It's updated by respective owners like product owner or business analyst. Okay, so what decision they have made on the user stories on the sprint. Let's say on the sprint. Let's say they are talking about the sprint. So what decision have they made? How many user stories is going into this sprint? Okay, and what they're trying. What is the priority user stories? So all these, they might update in the decision log. Okay, does it make sense? So all these, will be documented in the decision log. And then you have retrospective. So you remember we were talking about this retrospective meeting the other day. Once you go to sprint retrospective, okay, where you'll be talking its drawbacks and advantages, and if it's a drawback, so how are we improving on it? What we are going to do this sprint that we were not able to do in previous sprint. So all the sprint retrospectives, will be updated by Scrum Master. This should be, updated by Scrum Master, but it depends. Okay, it depends on the concerned person. Okay, so as a homework, right? So I'll be giving you homework. So make sure you upload this file. Make sure go to here, and here is the name. Let's see here. Yeah, here you can put your file. Okay. I have actually told to put here, but probably people didn't put here. It went somewhere else. Okay, so try to put here. Okay, this is confusing a little bit. See here, people have created some of the files of their own. Okay, you can also do that, but I recommend that to put it here at the files list. Let's see. Okay, you can either put it here. So better to put in this user. Okay, here. Put it here and drop it here. Put your name. Okay, and so if you're seeing, so we have seen this test plan, right? So you need to a little bit update here. So I'll be sending instructions for your homework. Update some of the values here in whatever type of testing you are doing. Okay, update these values and upload it here. Okay, this is the test plan document. Okay, any questions so far? So this is not really that user friendly. Okay, because let's say if I have to go back and I have to click here, and there's no option to go back. You have to use it here. Right, we don't, yeah, that's right. You don't have to create test plan always. So it's as a QA, you'll not be creating test plan. That's right. You have to check with the lead, and most probably your lead will be creating, but when your lead is creating, you have to give the inputs, right? And inputs like, what you are trying to test here, what are the resources you are using, okay, what are the various testing you are using, are we doing regression testing, are we doing performance testing, are we doing stress testing, so on. Okay, so what are the various features or various functionalities we are trying to test, how many bugs we are going to test. So these are the inputs. You have to give inputs to the lead, saying that we have to add this module, we have to add this module, okay, based on your experience. Okay, so that's what you have to give inputs to the lead and start working on that. So I didn't get this question. Release notes and test plan are some companies. So I'm not sure what the question is. Okay. So the same in the companies. It depends. Okay, it depends. Yeah, it can be same. Okay, but not always. I would not take it as the same because it actually depends on the project. Okay, how the project is designed and how they are working on. It depends. But release notes is something completely different. Release note is like when you release a new, let's say, you are actually a different version, right? Whenever you are releasing a new version, you now you say in the release notes what have you done. You fix the, fix this. You put a hot fix. You have fixed this bug. You improve this functionality. You added this functionality. So that's the release notes. Okay. So whenever you get a new software or new updated software, you put in the release note. So that's what it is actually. The okay. So no, release note is not a requirement document. Requirement document is completely different, where that's where you're trying to start writing your test cases. You start writing your test cases from the requirement document. Okay, even your mapping document. Okay, so if you're using an ETL, you'll be using the mapping documents. Okay, any more questions? So this is how. This is pretty complicated here. So those videos. So here are a few of the people who are prepared. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to our dashboard. There you go. Okay, so this is how you can use this Confluence. Okay, just go ahead and click here. You click on this home, and you get this apps. These are the various projects which you will be working on. Okay, you may not have access to all this project. Only the projects you're working on or you're responsible will be having access. And so now let's say if you have access to Confluence, you have to go through this Confluence and figure it out. Okay, which document you have to download, which document, because nobody will be giving you. Nobody is doing spoon feeding. Okay, you have to remember it. If you want something, you have to get it from someone else. Or it will be all there in the SharePoint and Confluence. You have to download from it. Nobody will be giving you, hey, read this document. You have to do this. No, you have to approach. You have to approach your lead. You have to approach your your boss. Okay, not always, but yeah, if you don't get something or lead is not a lead is on vacation, you have to take the initiative and you have to work on that. Okay, so okay, so that's how you can use this options. Okay, and it's a similar like Rally. If you've seen Rally, right? So this will be similar here. This is the dashboard. So this is the dashboard. And as I told you, right, dashboard is useful. Let's say your boss gave you some work, right? Suddenly they gave you some work and they'll not tell you. It's the most important thing, they will never tell you. Now you have to figure it out yourself. Let's say if you're using this dashboard and suddenly you see this assigned to me, I hope everyone is able to see here. If you see this, okay, good. So if you see this is assigned to me. That means if your boss has given you work, so it will be all appearing here. Okay. So now this is useful, right? That's the reason you can use this, or it's up to you. It's not really required that you have to use this dashboard. You can change it as per your requirement. If you want to, change it, you can change it too. But this is useful if your boss has given some work, right? Now if you see this, oh, you got a new work, new test cases, okay, you have to work on it, okay? So that's the use of this. So you have to remember that. And this is activity. If any, somebody added new feature, you get here in in that particular user story or in your project, this gets updated here. Somebody added some information here, some document, or somebody added some test plan. You see here, all this gets updated here. So this you can view it right here. Okay, so that's the useful of this. Okay, so you can make use of it. Okay, so let's go here. So here is the option here: projects, issues, boards. Okay, so here it shows which project you are actually have access to it. Once you see the access here, you can click and you can use it. Okay, so in other case, if you are using anything like test cases, if you are using a bug, if you want to create bug, or if you want to create any option, there's only one button here. Okay, just create button. You can just use that one. Once you click on that, okay, so this is the option here. You need to fill up all this information as always, and there's two projects. Okay, so we'll go to this one. This is waterfall. So let's say there's a waterfall and agile methodology 2 project. Okay, so here we'll just try to create a task. Yeah, you can create task here. New feature, epic improvement you don't have normally access. Even if you have access, you're not supposed to create because you're not a product owner or business analyst. Your job is to create only the task and bug. Okay, both have task and bug, 2 things. Okay. Okay, here we just put test cases with Juma Online. So you see here, there is no better option like Rally, just like input and output, right? To add some test cases like test box, you don't have the field values. Remember in Rally, you used to create steps, step 1, step 2, step 3. Here you don't really have this, but you can create in the description itself, or we can upload this document, Excel sheet, and see that already the test cases can be there in the Excel sheet, and we'll upload here, so we can have that option. So right now we'll just put test cases here. We'll see here. We can later edit this, okay, and click on create. So remember, it was created as 22. So ours is 22. Now once you create, you have to go to the particular project. Let's see, we have created in this. We'll go to that project, and here you go. So this interface is a little bit different when you are using this. This has sidebars. You see this first sidebar, second sidebar, and third sidebar. Okay, this is called sidebars. Okay, let me. So what I'm talking is, so this is one sidebar which contains information about the project. What are these? It's issues, reports, or releases, components, and all those things. Okay, now there is a second sidebar which contains information about issues. It can be test cases. It can be defects. So these are the defects. It can be features like this, and task. Okay, so all this information will be there in this sidebar. And the third sidebar, which is right, this is the third sidebar, the rightmost corner. This contains information about what you're trying to do. Let's say you click this one, right? This has information. What is the description? What is the test cases? And in all those things, you can also edit it, right? You can edit it, assign to the particular concerned person. If it is a bug, assign to the developer, and change the status. Now this is very important here. You want to change the status. Okay. Remember that same thing in Rally, from open submission to open to fix to close. So the same thing here. Okay. And you can see who did you assign to and who is the reporter. Okay, who reported it. Okay, so all these things you can do it. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, so this is just a little bit brief introduction. So, okay, so let's see here. Let's see our test case. So this is our test case. Okay, good. Now, since we already know the test case, so I'm not going to write. So I'll just copy this. just use this one and put it in here and do it. Okay, good. So we have uploaded kind of test cases, but not really. I mean, this is really not a professional way of doing it, but since we don't have this option, we have to work on this. Okay, and or you can use some third-party tool to write your test case. Like for example, here this doesn't work. Let's see here. Let's log in pages. This thing doesn't. It's not really updated properly. Or you can write here in our test cases somewhere here. Okay, this is a third-party tool. You see this? Nothing to do with Jira or anything. But once you write it here, this gets pulled up here, and all this will be updated here. So I mean, it's really not a very good option, but still you have that option to put it here. So that's one way of doing your test cases. Okay, using a third-party tool like Sentry or HipTest. Okay, you can use this HipTest too. Or you have that one more option. Somebody told me in one of the class, Zephyr plugin. These are plugins. Okay, once you plug in into it, you write your test cases somewhere else. This gets updated right here. Okay, that can be an option. If no option is available, okay, let's say no option is available, you know what? Let's say you have written in test cases in Excel. Okay, let's see here our test cases. Okay, now okay, so here's the case where you have written your test case in Excel. Okay, because the option is not available, and you have some problem. Later you can figure it out. But for now, you have written all the test cases here. Okay. Oops. These are all test cases, and it's passed or fail, whatever the scenario is. Once you do it, okay, upload it. So we can do it. If you see this attachment, put a browse and let me just read this. Okay, so you can you can also have this option here. Okay, so it's not necessary you have to use all of them. Use any of them. It's not like all of them you have to use any of them. Either you write the test cases of your own here itself, or use some third-party plugin like Sentry or HipTest or whatever is the available option. Or if even that is not available, then you can use this. Write your test cases in Excel and upload it here. The reason you have, because it's not very convenient. Okay, it's not very convenient to write test cases. That's why you have to use these options. Okay, otherwise if you have any better option, you can use it. So that's not an issue. But if you don't have an option, you have to use such kind of things. Any questions on this? Okay, and since you can edit this, you want to edit, you can edit. Let's see here. You will be having more options here now. Okay, and if you have any labels, put the labels, and here you're assigning time, right? So here is like 3 weeks, 4 days, and 12 hours. I mean, this is the way this is done is a little bit different. Okay, we'll be normally using in hours. Okay, so we'll just put this as hours. Okay, 10 hours. And the remaining is 10 hours. Okay, we're not using in days or weeks. Okay, we'll be using this as hours. The reason, because if you use a story, it makes sense, because to finish an user story, product owner will be waiting for developers and testers to finish this so that they can create one more user story. But here this is not a user story, so it will obviously it will not take weeks to test your application. Okay, it will just 1 week at the max. That's also in waterfall. In waterfall, it was like just 1 week. You don't get more than that. Okay, and if you have attachments, with attachments, so we already done that. And if you do the due date, just we know the due date, 22nd. And if you have any linking with this, that means this is created because of that issue is created because of this, then you can link it. Okay, it is blocked or it is caused by or is related to. Okay, you can use this option. And what's the issue here? You find what actually the issue is and use it. Okay, and who is the assignee? People are using this. Okay, good. So who is assigning it? Okay, they can, assign, and the link, the epic link is like requirement. What is the requirement? And if there's any comment, you can put any comment and click on update. So now it's to do. So you want to put it in progress. So click on in progress, and this becomes in progress. Now once you put in progress, your test case is normally reviewed by lead. Okay. Once your lead is approved, okay, you have to put it. Actually, it's supposed to be in review. Once in review, it will be in progress. Your lead will change it to in progress. Okay, should be in review. After that, in progress. Once it is in progress, you assign it to the respective developer. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Once you assign to respective developer, okay, so now that means the developer will be working on it. But this is a test case. You're not assigning to a developer. You'll be, if it is some scenario which you'll be assigning to some QA engineer or QA analyst, in that case you want to assign it. Otherwise, itself, you have to assign it to yourself. Okay, and you have to work on this. So somebody asked it, right? So somebody asked the question, right? So how do I know the developer is working on that? Simply, yeah, you don't. You don't know developer is working on that. So what you want to do is, because it's a developer responsibility to, once it gets to the developer, they will work it either way. Okay, because they'll, developer boss will be on top of their head. Okay, now they'll not be ignoring that. Once it goes to it and once it gets assigned, and it's their burden. The burden is passed on the developer, and developer has to work on it. Okay, if they are not working it, it's not our problem. Does it make sense? Because once it's gone, you have to, of course, you have to follow up. Not that you can completely ignore it. You have to follow up, but I don't have to give some time, 1 day or 2 days, and follow up with them, saying that, hey, you know what, I couldn't see any update on this. They will, either update this or they'll write some comment, okay, saying that, yeah, they might write, saying that, we have these priority issues, we are working on it, but, we will be, we will take time. Okay, so all those things they'll update. So mostly they will, you know, they will change the status so that they will know, or they'll send an email to you. Okay, if they don't, wait for, like, I would say 1 day, because they will be also working on plenty of projects. Okay, developers will be working a lot of projects, not just one or two. Okay, so you have to wait for 1 day, and the max 1 day. Okay, 1 day or 2 days, the max. And because even if you're waiting too much, you'll get from your boss what's happening. Why are not this ticket is fixed. So you have to wait at least for 1 day and see developer has not done. The next day you can check with him, saying that, hey, you know what, I assigned this to these defects, where you're able to get a chance to look into it. Okay. So otherwise, normally, developers' responsibility is to look into it. Okay. But if they don't, yeah, of course you need to follow up. Without follow up, don't expect cakewalk. Okay. They might not even do it. Okay. Okay. So once you have done this test case, okay, and now you have to, let's say this is fixed. Okay. Now what I'll do is just go here and click on done. Okay, now if you see this, this is my test case, right? IATTFF22. I want to refresh it. Let's see what happens. You see this, the test case is gone from this. No? Now even if I have to look what I have done, what I was writing, now this is completely gone. I don't see it here anymore. Okay, I hope you guys are looking into it. So, as you see here, there is no IATTFF22. Okay, these are the only test cases left. Once I completed that, this has completely moved. That means it has been archived. Okay, this has been archived, and you want to look into. Now, if you want to get it, and let's say you found some issue, or you want to look into that particular test case, you want to go back. Okay, let's say go to the issues, and search for issues, because it's no more in the project. The project gets, if you know this number, that's key. That's good. Or if you want to search, you have to search here, okay, which updated recently or resolved recently, you have this option, this option. And if you know the assignee, you can assign it. So let's see here. So you can search from this filters. In this you have this option to create the filter, okay, or you can use this. Okay, or if you know the assignee, only the assignee put it, update the filter here. Okay, or yeah, these are the options you have. Okay, but in this case, I know which is the one is showing right here. So this is my test case, which which was done. It shows the status as done. You see this? It's done. That's why it's done. It's moved from this. So this has been archived. So if you want to it, you can open it again. When you reopen, you see this is done. When you reopen, it goes again. This goes back to this particular project. Okay, this is something which you have to look into it. If you are if you don't find your test cases or your issues located there. Okay. Let's go back to here. Any questions so far? Okay, so the similar way you can also create bug. Okay, you can just one button again. You click on create, and instead of task, you want to put as bug, and we'll use the same thing. Okay, and you know what to do. You have to upload your images. Always there you have this option for images. You see this? Oops, not here. Oh. Okay, so you cannot able to upload the image here, but you can, okay, you can upload it here, but this will not come here. Okay, it's not doesn't show here. So let's do it. Let's see here. Once you created the defect, and it's been 23. Okay, so here it didn't get updated. Let's refresh it. If you want to refresh, this option is here. Refresh result. And okay, good. Now on this, click on this. Here you go. You can upload a screenshot here itself. Okay, so this will not get in the description. Okay, this doesn't get updated in the description, but you have the option to put this in the attachment. Okay, so that's how you want to make sure. And if this is again to do, you want to change it to status from to do to actually it's supposed to be in review. Once it's in review and then in progress, and once it's done, now we close this defect. So again, when it's done, again this is moved completely and moved into the archive. That bug is archived into a different folder, which no more shows up here. Okay, so that's how you can open test cases. You can create effects. Okay, so the only thing here in this test case is execution part, right? You have to execute it and you also upload the documents. You can also do that. Okay, uploading document is most of the tools have this option of putting drop and drop files. Okay, most of the tools have this option, so always put your screenshot or put your document. See, somebody's already put here, right? Put your document or upload it so everyone can view it. So all of this is similar to the Rally tool we have seen. So it's similar, but the UI is different. Right, as I told you, it's divided into 3 sidebars. Any questions so far? Okay, so we'll look into this pretty quick here, report section. Here you see this reports. This also has reports, but it's really not that that many reports that Rally has. Okay, you still have this many reports like average age report, created resolve issues, pie chart report. So all those things you can still find it here, but you don't have much option to create a report, custom report, right? Let's see here if we can create one custom report. We don't really have that good option to create a custom report here. But you still, yeah, you can create a report with these options available. So you will click on next. Okay, you can still get a report here. Okay, this is unassigned and who have done it, how many issues are closed, how many issues are open. Okay, a similar way you can create reports on different, not just pie chart, but you also have it a different option too. Okay, so you also have this option of graph kind of. So how many issues were reported in these many times and all those things. Okay. So this is useful for Scrum Masters and those people who want to view this, what's happening to the project. But if you are requested to do this, you have to do this. Okay, once it's created, save this. Okay, so you have option to save it. So you want to print it. If you're using Chrome, then you're in luck. Once you do this, you can save this and send this report. Okay. Any questions in this? Now this is also a report for let's use this some third party tool. Let's see here. Yeah, you can use some third-party tool, okay, to generate the reports, and you can use it, but yeah, you don't have to use it. There's no plugin, and Jira has so many plugins. Okay, there's like plugin for reports, plugin for test cases, plugin for a lot of things. So you can use it. If there's an option, you can use it. Yes, we need to use the reports only if it is requested by your lead or your boss. Okay. Otherwise, you are not supposed to use reports. Not your job. But if they tell you, you have to do it. Okay. Okay. So let's move to. So here. So here in this case, see, here's the thing. This is no more age of installing. This is everything will be there in the cloud. Okay. So normally, I would be looking for cloud-based, so you don't have to install anything, and especially when you're working on work at the workplace, right? You're not responsible to install anything. Okay, it's an administrator job. They have to install it, and if you are looking for something which is not there in your system, now you cannot install by yourself. You have to place a ticket, you have to place a request, or check with your boss saying that what, this is the important thing and this I have to do it, and this has to get installed in my system. Then in that case, your boss will raise a ticket for you, and that way it gets installed in your system. Okay, that's how the workplace it works. You cannot install by yourself. There's no, if you are doing that, that would be a really big problem. It's not your job to install any applications in your work machine. It's really nothing to do with it. Okay, so but here in this case, you don't have to install anyway. Everything is in the cloud. Okay, everything is goes in the cloud, and we are all working on this cloud, right? So everything is cloud supported. So no more installation. Okay, everything is in the browser. Does it make sense? Okay, so let's go pretty quick here. So far, we checked about this. That was a little bit on waterfall kind of methodology. Let's see here how um, this agile kind of thing work here. Okay, so if you see this is a different project. Okay, we say this is, let's say this is an agile. So here, if you see this, options are a little different here. So this backlog. Well, let's see here what's the backlog here. So this is for especially for the agile. Now, if you see, this is again, back to our things like, backlog. This is a backlog item, and two backlogs, or you can create. Okay, you're not supposed to create backlog. It's not your job, but I'm just letting you know. And if Scrum Master have to move this backlog from one sprint, let's say there is a backlog item and it's moved into third sprint, and that's how you can move it. Or you can create, as a matter of fact, you can create your own backlog. Here in this, I mean, not you, somebody will be doing it, product owner. You might have access to this or not, doesn't matter because you're not creating backlog. Okay, so but this is the scenario. You can move this, backlog item. Let's say the sprint 3 was not resolved, it goes to move to the next sprint, sprint 4. Sprint 4 is not, then sprint 5, and so on. Okay, so based on that, you can move your backlog items or user stories, normal user stories. Okay, that's also part of the backlog, right? It's a part of the backlog. It's more user story has technical information so that you can write your test cases, but backlog doesn't. Okay, this high level document it doesn't. Okay, so user story is also a part of the backlog. Okay, that's the reason it's a backlog. Okay, so once all the user stories are completed, that means one backlog or one block is completed. Okay, that's what it means. Okay, so that's how you can use this. So this is a typical agile project in Jira. You remember we used that traditional method of using that board kind of thing, right? Okay, let's go back to the other day. We were talking about. If you see this, we were trying to move the sticky notes. Okay, see this. Okay, so the movement of sticky notes, right, from one column to another column. The similar way, rally is also the similar way that you can move your item from one column to another column. Back. So this is kind of backlog where you can view the various backlogs here. And let's go to here, active sprint. That's a very good question. Somebody else said, how can I link backlog and test cases? Now, you're not linking your test cases with backlog. You're linking your test cases with user stories. Okay, so there has to be user stories. So in Jira, you don't have to worry because the Jira is good for a small team. Okay, the project you're creating, okay, you'll be automatically writing your user stories in that. Okay, so let's see here pretty quick. Okay, go to the issues section. Once you come there, see this here. This is the user story. How do I know this is user story? This plus icon, new feature. See this? Okay, so let's see here. This green color with plus icon means feature. Okay, this is a new feature, and this is task. Okay, red color is called bug. Okay, so these are the tasks. So what you are trying to do, everything is one project. So this is a project. Okay, so all of this in the one project. So here you don't need anything to link with it. We are not linking anything because everything is here itself. You're creating whatever test cases, whatever defects, or whatever you're doing in this project, and this is the feature for this, and that's a good thing about this. There's no need of linking. But yes, if you are using Rally, if you are using HPLM, you have to link, your requirements or user stories to your test cases. Does it make sense? Okay. Okay, so let's go to pretty quick here. Actually, this sprint makes more sense for this box, not the backlog item, right? So backlog is Jira is good for agile. Jira is also good for waterfall. Okay, we have seen waterfall model right recently. This is more related to this project is more related to agile. Okay, so you can use in any project, but this is good only for small teams. If you're using it in a large team, then Rally is much more better because your test cases will be there right there, and you be viewing your test cases a lot of things. Here, if a lot of the people are using, you get confused. Who is writing what, and what is doing? Okay, who is doing what? You don't know. So here it gets a lot of issues. Then it will be a really a lot of chaos there. But in Rally, you will be knowing. If not, you can filter your test cases, filter your bugs. Okay, however it is. So that's the difference. Okay, this is good for small teams. Okay, so here let's see this active sprint. Let's say this is the sprint one, and you want to move your task or user stories one by one. Okay, just similar like this. See this? Now this is a traditional way. So we don't need any more traditional way of doing this. You can use this. Let's say just use your mouse and put it in progress. Okay, or also want to go in review. Let's say in review. Okay, and once it's done, you click on this. Just move that task from this done. Okay, so that's how you can move your task or bugs in this sprints, active sprints, just like similar to this where you're using your sticky notes, and instead of that you're using this. Okay, does it make sense? And if this is one way of using it. If you don't want to use it, that's fine. Um, the same thing you will be doing in the issues section. Okay, the same thing. Once you update here, that thing gets updated there. So if you don't want to use it, no, I don't like it, so that's fine. Okay, this gets updated automatically. But if you want this, then you can use this too, and that gets automatically updated in the issues section. Okay, so let's try this. So issue is not really specific to defect. Defect is a part of issue, okay, but issue is not a defect. Does it make sense? Issue can be user story, issue can be a requirement, issue can be a defect, issue can be a test case, okay, so that can be issue. But defect, the defect is like you're being specific, okay. Defect is not the issue. I mean, defect can be an issue, but issue is not always a defect. Okay, so that's what it means. So if you see here, if you look into it here, see these issues, you see here, this is a feature request, this is the task, you can also open bug here. Okay, so that's what it means by issue. So it's like, if you remember, I think it was in third class or fourth class, right? So if you remember, it was one thing, right? Yes, a rhombus can be a square, but a square is not a rhombus. Similar way, this is the thing. Because to be a square, you need four sides equal. So rhombus has four sides equal. Okay, that angle, the angle is same. But for rhombus, it needs the angle of that, but square does only have 90 degrees. So the similar way with this, issue can be a defect, okay, but defect is not always an issue. The similar way. Okay, so something. Let's go here. So let's try this. Now let's see here. So it's IATT6. Let's see if we have that in. Okay, good. So you have this, and this is in to do. Let's see here. It's in to do. Okay. Now we'll change it to in progress. Let's say we'll change it to in progress. Okay. Now this has changed to in progress. Okay. Let's go back here. IATC. Oh, you see this? It's changing into. So that's what it's an option. It's this really have a good option for you. If you like it, you can use it here. Then that gets automatically updated in the here. Okay, and you can use it either way. This is an option. Okay, it's not like you have to only use this. No, it's only that. No, you have two ways of using it. Any questions? So releases for release people. So normally this is, any releases is going on, you can view here, not to do anything, but just to view if you have access. Otherwise, if you don't have access, it will not be showing up here anyway. Okay. And these are the graphs. Okay, good. Here you have this graphs, right? Agile graphs. So those graphs we have seen those. Those were more related to waterfall. This is more related to agile. You see this burn down chart, sprint, velocity chart. These are only in agile, not in waterfall, right? So let's see here. This integrated. Okay, it doesn't get updated because we have to update all these things. Okay, so otherwise you can also view those reports here too. Okay, so this is all about Jira. Okay, I'll be giving you homework on. Okay, on Confluence, make sure you guys do that homework, and I'll be giving you access to this tool. Just you can use it, okay, and try to understand what's happening. Yes, burn down charts, velocity charts supposed to be generated automatically based on your user stories. So those gets based on your test cases. Let's say you passed it, you failed it, those gets updated automatically. You're not doing anything manually. So there it's not get updated because it's just not properly organized. So that's the reason. Confluence is the integrated part of Jira. Yes, it's not just Confluence. Atlassian has a lot of modules. They also have Bitbucket where the code you can check in the code. So that's in the Bitbucket. Okay, Confluence it's a SharePoint for Atlassian, and then Jira. Jira is a part of Atlassian. So there's a lot of modules. Not just I just only told you 3 to 4. There's plenty of this. So yes, it's a part of all Atlassian. So that's not a plugin, that's a integrated modules. Plugin is something which is served that hip test, right? Hip test or Sentry, so those are called plugins. Those are plugins are normally third-party tools. Okay, so these are all third-party in sense which is not related to that company. Okay, so this is not Atlassian, somebody else does it. They just added the plugin and that's it. But these are the integrated modules for Atlassian. SharePoint again, you have to refer your videos because SharePoint again I told you right. SharePoint is from IBM. That's a different company. Confluence is from different company. Okay, Confluence is from Atlassian, and both you cannot use same thing. But at work you might be using both things. It depends how the project is. But most of the time only one. SharePoint, you either using SharePoint or Confluence, okay, or neither. They might have a different, different user interface. Okay, it's not necessary you have to use only SharePoint only. Okay, they might use Network Drive. It's up to them how they are using. So those are different companies, but UI is different. So do you have to use JQL? So what is JQL? So this is the test management tool. What's the JQL? What it has to do with the JQL? Jira query language. So here you are not using any language here. Okay, so this is the test management tool. We are not dealing with language. So language is the completely different. Okay, if you are using that, I mean you might have some option here to do this. Let's see here. If you want to here, you might use some of the option, but really you will not be, as a tester, you're not responsible to do all this. So it's nothing to do with JQL. So you'll be only using if you have database connected to it. You have to write queries on that, so that's a different thing. That's ETL, or you want to go to that one. That's a completely different, but nothing to do with test management tool as a officially. Most probably you'll not be doing as a tester. So this is only for managing your test cases or creating defects or coordinating the team members, but nothing to develop this application. Okay, you're not developing Jira, right? Unless you are working at Atlassian company and you want to develop Jira, that's a different story. You want to use all these languages, JQL, SQL, and all those things. But other than that, you're not developing any Jira here. Okay, you're just managing your test cases. So it has nothing to do with that. Any more questions? Okay, so tomorrow, we'll check with HPLM. Okay. So if you need HPLM access, you have to check with Tagore. Okay, I don't have access for this. Okay, remaining Jira, I'll be giving you access by today. Okay. Okay, if no questions, can we close this class for today? Okay, thank you guys.